Hi guys, welcome back to my channel once again. So today I'm back with another reaction video र आजको reaction video को लागि चाहिँ मैले अघि भर्खर मेरो YouTube को community tab मा पोस्ट गरेको थिएँ. Do you guys want me to make a reaction video on Nelson Delhis upcoming premiering video मा मैले भनेको थिएँ अनि तपाईहरुले चाहिँ yes भनेर धेरै जनाले मलाई रिक्वेस्ट गर्नुभयो भिडियो बनाउनु भनेर. अनि हाम्रो नेल्सन डेली सर को चाहिँ विजय साई स्क्याम भन्ने भिडियो चाहिँ भर्खरै प्रिमियर भइरहेछ लाइभ भइरहेको छ. त्यसैले मैले डाइरेक्ट विदाउट सीइङ एनीथिङ मैले रियाक्ट गर्न गइरहेको छु. I don't know if it's going to be long or short video, but please bear with me. I know it's going to be all worth it. So without any further ado, I'm just straight answering the video.
Switched out the papers, she recorded it and wrote the answer and then somehow swapped it when I wasn't looking. Now, I'll say before anything, this is very possible that it happened. I'm not ruling it out, but I will provide some reasons why maybe some of that might have been more challenging than you as a viewer might think. But I definitely, there's one thing, and nobody's actually brought this up, there's one thing that to me makes this entire thing look super fishy. And it's not the girl, it's not the tears on the paper. I'll show you what it is. But I want to address a couple things that I'm seeing here from this person's commentary. So he says here that, the divine power is a lot of what Bijay explains his powers or skills to be. And here they're saying that that's actually not quite what he said in past interviews. I didn't know that. Very interesting to me. If I knew that, I would have drilled him a little harder on that question. I don't like that answer. It doesn't sit well with me. It's such a cop-out. Like, come on. Also, another person said that when I asked him, when did you realize you had this power? And he said, 2 years. I thought he meant since he was 2 years old, which would have been a little more reasonable. Okay, it's a God-given gift. Great. Okay, you were born with it. Cool. But I think from my misunderstanding, it's actually 2 years ago, which to me is absurd.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just, unless you're hit in the head by a baseball bat, your brain somehow gets injured, that you suddenly realize you have this ability. It doesn't happen like that. So that already is another annoying red flag.
And also, I mean, भन्दा पनि बडी embarrassing कति नेल्सनलाई लागिरहेको कि बिकज he has so many वर्ल्ड रेकर्ड होइन. उसको त्यो मेमोरी च्याम्पियनको धेरै वर्ल्ड रेकर्ड छ. एन्ड अल्सो त्यो डिभाइन पावर भनेर भन्दाखेरि उसलाई के लाग्यो होला त्यतिखेर कि आई मिन लाइक.
All right, one thing about this lady, she didn't really speak good English. We barely interacted. She gave me or offered me coffee here, brought me a water, brought her food. She seemed to be the assistant of his office. But I will say they were very hospitable, right? All she's doing here seemingly is being a nice host, right? Bringing me coffee, bringing me water. That's a nice thing to do, right? I didn't think anything of it when I was in the room. Another thing to note, people were saying, they had a plan, they were gonna record what he said. But let me remind you, here's one of my counter arguments, if you will. They didn't know I was gonna do a single page, right? You could see from the interview that they thought that I was going to ask to do the entire book. Now, there's no way BJ was going to sit there reading the entire book from start to finish out loud, right? That would have taken at least 10 hours, okay? And if she was recording the whole thing, how are they going to know how to find the page I was going to ask them about, right? Now, they may have had another plan planned out in the case that I did that. Who knows, right? But for those of you saying that they...
Sorry, Nelson sir, but you are taking them very lightly. They will outsmart you. जति तपाईले सोचिरहनु भएको छ त्योभन्दा धेरै स्मार्ट छ उनीहरू. They will come up with anything, के anything. जुनसुकै कुरा भए पनि they always have something to do. Okay, एउटा न एउटा उपाय निकालिहाल्छ के उनीहरूले उल्लु बनाउनको लागि. So I don't know what to say about it.
They had this figured out. I know he steps away from the room for a little bit. But is that enough time to say like, hey, let's do plan B? Or did they have this planned out in some capacity? They just said, let's do that scam, scam B, the one that we talked about before in case he asked this, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It seems pretty tough to have figured out a way to do this with me right there in the room. That's pretty ballsy. But if he's a true scam artist, if he's a true illusionist, magician kind of guy, these kind of people are well prepared on how to.
Yes, that's what I said.
So who knows? Perhaps. Now we see she takes out a phone here. It's black. Now, one thing the guy says in this video, hang on, is that she puts it by the sink. I don't think this really matters, but I don't think she did put it by the sink because watch, you can see here. You can see in the corner here that she's putting something in her back pocket. I would assume it's her phone. Again, it doesn't matter if the phone's there. She could have recorded it from in the room, from just outside the room when the door was closed. I don't know. But just to point that out, that I don't know if that's quite accurate, what this person is saying. And here, even if you were to look, I think in her backside pocket, you can actually see the outline of the phone. So I think the phone is on her. Again, does that really make a difference? I don't think so, but just to point that out. Now, I do remember when this was happening, I was like, come on, dude, why are you getting out of the room so many times? What are you up to now? And then when he came back with a little Kalima trinket, I was like, okay, he's playing on this religious thing. This is important to him. I don't know, but it was uncomfortable for me to see him get out of the room so much. I didn't like that. I was like, what is he planning, you know? And he could have very well been talking to the girl saying, hey, just record this and try to write it out and get it to me. I don't know how he would have, maybe they had some signals prepared, but I don't know how he would have let her know with the door closed when to pass through the paper, right? How did she know I was looking the other way? That kind of thing. I mean, he was very verbal in what he was saying. Could have been heard through the door, but, you know, there's a lot of things, right, to plan. Just saying. Now, one thing I will say is I did think it was weird that he talked out loud. And what's funny is if you were to go with the conjecture that the woman recorded him and wrote it out based on what she heard, that makes sense for the mistakes that he's made here. Like, for example, in the first line, it says, when he felt the mountain.
So, अब कुरा आयो यो पेपरको है इभन मसँग पनि त्यो पेपरको साइड बाई साइड ह्यान्ड राइटिङ छ फ्यु अदर्स ह्यान्ड राइटिङहरू पनि छ जुन मैले चाहिँ पछि एन्ड अफ द भिडियोमा पोस्ट गर्नेछु बट मिलेको छैन क्या केही पनि लेखेको यो वर्डसँग उसको पेपरमा लेखेको केही मिलाएको छैन मेबी बेस गरी बोल्दाखेरि रेकर्ड भएको कुरा कसरी थाहा हुन्छ होइन आफूलाई त्यो आफूले बोलेको भए पनि त्यो मान्छेले अर्को मान्छेले सुनेर लेख्नु पर्यो अनि फर्स्ट अफ अल नो वान्स गुड इन इङ्ग्लिस होइन इङ्ग्लिसमा कोही पनि राम्रो छैन सो त्यहीँनिर अर्को नेगेटिभ पोइन्ट भयो बट मेबी अन द स्पोट नेल्सन सरले चाहिँ त्यहाँनिर नै हेर्नुपर्ने थियो होला लेखेको मिलेको छ कि नै भनेर बिकज भिडियोमा थाहा थिएन हेर्नुभयो कि नै
Right, this translated to when his field the mountain.
When he felt the mountain.
So, you know, there's things that he would have said or pronounced incorrectly that got translated kind of actually how it was written down, which is a pretty good sign that it was recorded and somebody wrote down what they heard. Now, on the flip side, if you listen to what he says and you compare it to what he wrote or she wrote, some of the words he said are missing. Or they're different. So that kind of throws a wrench into that idea that she was listening to a recording and writing out what she heard, because how can she write out stuff that isn't there unless it's done on purpose to give the effect that it's not perfect, you know what I mean? But have a listen.
From my opinion, maybe मैले भने अघि नै हैन इंग्लिशमा राम्रो छैन दे आर नट गुड इन इंग्लिश सो इंग्लिशमा अलरेडी विजय साईले जेसुकै भनेको त्यो मान्छेले बुझेन again they are not good in English not Bijay Shahi not the other girl not the in त्यो ट्रान्सलेट गर्ने मान्छे no one was good in English so विजय शाहले जेसुकै भने पनि त्यो केटीले बुझ्ने जति सिम्पल द एन्ड वेन सिम्पल वर्ड्सहरू मात्रै उसले लेख्यो जुन कुरा उसले बुझ्थ्यो अरू कुरा अब बुझे पनि उनीहरूलाई न स्पेलिङ आएन अथवा त्यो वर्ड के हो भन्ने आएन केही न केही मेबी हुन सक्छ
right sure yeah you could do
269
yeah this one 269
with a bottle with a bottle in his hands
first of all hands instead of this person wrote hand if you heard hands like you did there you would have written the S no
when he felt the mountain shift underneath him the wall of rocks propping
the wall of rocks he says right but here it says the wall rock okay
of the downhill side of the tent was collapsing the tent
he said was collapsing and that doesn't even show here it says of washing cry fly
that's the point त्यो point मलाई point out गर्न लाग्छ कि झन् because पहिला कुरा त विजय शाहले राम्ररी pronounce पनि गरेको छैन विजय शाह is not pronouncing the word properly and the girl who heard the words उसलाई नै थाहा छैन वर्ड के हो भनेर सी डजन्ट अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड द वर्ड्स सो उसले लेख्दाखेरि उसलाई जे सिम्पल वर्ड जस्तो लाग्यो उसले त्यही लेखिदियो उसले जे बुझ्यो त्यही लेखिदियो होइन किनकि लाइक आई सेड उनीहरू इङ्ग्लिसमा राम्रो छैन उनीहरूले के बुझ्छ त अब बोल्ने मान्छेले त्यस्तै पाराले बोलिरहेको छ इङ्ग्लिस लेख्ने मान्छेले पनि त्यसरी नै लेखिदिन्छ नि होइन स्पेलिङ यताउता वर्डहरू आउनको लागि गाह्रो हुन्छ अनि वर्डहरू पनि एउटा बुकमा राखेको वर्ड कति कम्प्लिकेटेड हुन्छ त त्यसको स्पेलिङ आउनु पऱ्यो होइन त्यो त उसले प्रोनाउन्सिएसन पनि त्यस्तै गरिरहेछ स्पेलिङ पनि आउँदैन सो लेख्ने के त आफूले जे आउँछ त्यही लेखिदिने होइन बाले भएन नि लेखिदिएको जस्तो फिल हुन्छ नि आफूले एटलिस्ट ल ठिकै छ नि त जे भए पनि मैले लेखिदिएँ 90% वर्ड नमिलाए पनि 10% त मिलाएँ नि भने जस्तो हुनको लागि हो कि चाहिँ
Lying or whatever this says. So, of washing, where did that come from? Right? Why would that person have written that? If it's pretty clear, like if you didn't see the video and you were hearing that, you wouldn't write of washing, right? I don't know. I'm not saying that that's not the way they did it, but maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's a little different, or maybe it's not that exact scam, right? Just a different scam. Next, let's talk about the paper that I rip. Okay, here's what I have to say about that. When I ripped it out, you can see it's not a perfect tear, right? Now the pages in this book had a perforated edge, right? Meaning that, you know, it's supposed to be easy to rip in a straight line. Now, I don't know, my nerves or just trying to do it fast enough, I didn't get it quite. So I think, and again, I'm trying to remember what happened exactly, but I think that I ripped it into the seam of the book, right? Meaning the perforated edge was still there, okay? Now you can see it's clearly uneven, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at this frame, I'm gonna screenshot it. You can actually see the perforated edge, okay? Now why is that important? Well, when he's doing his thing for the 30 minutes that I'm not looking, there's a possibility that he evened it out, right? He just pulled the paper off so that it was perfect. There is that possibility. I'm not gonna rule that out. I can see myself, I'm a perfectionist. If I saw that uneven edge and I was just kind of sitting there trying to remember something out of boredom, I could see myself very well evening out an uneven side like that. Totally reasonable. Again, I never saw, where did the paper go? Maybe he put it in his pocket, like the shreds that came off the side. I don't know. But I agree. This is not the same jagged edge as the one of the paper that I have, right? It's perfectly, almost perfect here, right? So that's interesting. Also, they're talking about how I wasn't able to see the handwriting. He hid it from me. That is true, but I could see he was writing something. Do I know what it was? No. Did it look similar to what I got on the final paper? Yes, but again, I couldn't see what he was writing word for word, so who knows. More on the paper issue later. I have some really damning evidence. It just made me decide there and then that for sure, no question, this was all a scam.
सो इभन द पेपरको बारेमा कुरा गर्दाखेरि पनि हाम्रो नेल्सन सरले चाहिँ के भन्नुभयो भने हि हेज आई डोन्ट नो ओसिडी अर समथिङ सो उसलाई चाहिँ स्ट्रेट गर्नुपर्छ पेपरहरू होइन देख्यो भनेदेखि बेन्ड पेपरहरू स्ट्रेट गर्नुपर्छ भनेर अनि मेबी विजय शाहीसँग त्यस्तो थियो होला भनेर बट ट्रस्ट मी नेल्सन सर यु डोन्ट नो विजय शाही प्रपरली आई नो एभिडेन्सहरू आउँदैछ भनेर बट कुनै पनि नेपालीलाई त्यस्तो ओसिडी पके पनि हुँदैन कि कोही पनि नेपालीले के झन् त्यस्तो स्क्याममा इन्भल्भ हुने मान्छेलाई त हि डजन्ट ह्याभ एनी टाइम टु रिप अफ द एज अफ द पेपर एन्ड मेक इट स्ट्रेट देयर इज नो वे त्यो ऊ पछाडि टर्न गरेको बेला मेबी अरू नै केही खेल भइरहेको थियो होला के भइरहेको थियो होला बट त्यो पेपर रिप गर्ने पोसिबिलिटी 0%.
All right, now the next part that is a huge problem, of course, and I knew this would be a huge problem for a lot of people, and I even had a huge problem with it, of course, is that I had to turn away. At that moment, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? After all this, after so much of letting me kind of be in the process here, you're now going to tell me to look away? That's going to kill all credibility right there and then. And it did, right? I mean, anything can happen technically in 20, 30 minutes without someone looking, right? Now, what I will tell you, for the most part, I had him in my peripheral. Again, we were in this room together. I also could hear. I was being very, very perceptive. Any chance I could get, I was looking at him in my peripheral. You can see in the video that that's not always the case. Could she have slid something under the door? Definitely. Would I have heard it? Yeah, maybe not. I was listening. I wasn't listening for that, right? But I do know that the door was never opened. I can tell you that much because that door made sound. And he didn't move really from where he was sitting there. So, yeah, I mean, the other question is where did the other paper go? Maybe he just folded it and put it in his pocket. I don't know. So now here's the thing that gives away that this is most likely a scam, all right? And it has to do with the paper as well. If you look at the paper he gives me, right, there's clearly a crease down the middle where it was folded. And actually there was another one this way too. It was folded in 4. He gave it to me, okay? Over a month later, those creases are still there. Okay, you can see them, right? If I hold them in the light, there you go. You can see them easily. Now notice the corners. I don't know if you can see this, but the corners have no noticeable fold creases, right? Like when you read a book and you dog-ear the page, right? If you look at, let's see, the original page I gave him, there's a noticeable dog-ear at the bottom corner. That does not exist here. Now the thing about paper, when you fold it, those creases do not come out.
Yes.
They are there for eternity. I mean, unless I'm wrong, right? Somebody prove me wrong. If you make a fold in a paper, can you get that fold out as if it never happened? I don't think you can do that in a standard, you know, school A4 piece of paper, whatever you want to call it. Physicists out there, am I wrong? I don't care how much, you know, I've been having this paper stuck in this hardcover book pressed, right? So maybe it was massaged out. You would still see a vague line somewhere on the sheet if that was the case. I just want you to watch this, all right? I managed to find a still. I scrubbed through the footage and when he was doing the recall, writing things out on paper, and I tried to find a moment where he turned the page over and I could freeze the frame and sort of read maybe what he was writing. Because remember, I couldn't see what he was writing per se. I could kind of see and it looked like he was writing. I saw ink on the page, but I couldn't tell what it was, okay? But there's this frame here. I'll play it a couple times. So he just turned it over to write. Again, he had taken a pause. So look, a little slower. There, flip it over. If I stop it right here, zoom in.
Something's written there on the
Look
side.
At that,
okay.
Right? I draw a little line. That shows, I can't read what it is, right? It's still too blurry, but I can tell for sure, with certainty, 100%, that first word, and it looks like most of the lines there that he's written so far, are a decent amount of space away from that margin line, right? Shown in red here. That is undeniable. It's not touching the line, right? There's like a little gap there. Am I crazy? No. This is what he gave me. Yeah. No gap whatsoever.
Music Oh my god, that's crazy. That's all.
Gotcha, bitch.
Now, if you number these lines, here's another piece of evidence. I'm sure you could get a bunch out of this. But that to me speaks for itself. There's no need to go further. It's done. It is not the same sheet he gave me from the one he's writing on right now. Done and done. But if you look on line 9 here, I don't know what that word is. It looks like he wrote something
Smiley
like
or something.
meaning or becoming. It ends in ing. I can see the G at the end there. Now, if we look at the same line on the thing he gave me, that word does not look the same as the other one. And even the G, the way he's written the G, is not the same kind of low-hanging hook, right? It's a different kind of loop. So no matter what you want to believe, you can't deny that. It's over, Bijay. It's over.
Yes,
You're
it's
done.
over.
Stop this crap, man. You wasted my time.
See?
I'm so angry. I'm really angry.
कति frustrated छ यार यो मान्छे हामी के embarrassed हुनु भने he is so embarrassed that he wasted his time.
I felt for the guy. I was too nice. I do that story of my life, but I was too nice. And this guy, well, he shot himself in the foot, to be honest. But there it is. Bijay is a scam artist and a fraud. Nelson Dellis, 4-time USA memory champion, says so. Now, one last thing I want to talk about is his handwriting. At this point, I don't really know if it matters to even talk about this.
Even मैले मेरो स्टार्टिङको भिडियोमा भनेको थिएँ त्यो ह्यान्डराइटिङहरूको कुरा इट्स स्टिल कमिङ भिडियोको एन्डमा म राख्छु होइन बट आई थिङ्क हिज ट्राइङ टु से द सिमिलर थिङ्स
But it is interesting nevertheless because it still makes me wonder how he did this. Again, I don't think it's as simple as he made the girl do it and she was recording. There's some inconsistencies with that, but this definitely was a scam. After I realized that you guys were right and that maybe someone else wrote this, I reached out to him immediately on Facebook to see if he would do something on camera. I recorded it, had him write out a passage that's the same from here, made him take a picture of it live on the call so I could compare the handwritings.
But
and
no.
This is what I got. These are the two handwriting samples. They
okay.
look the same, but someone else, one of you guys, actually reached out to me with handwriting samples from
Other
other
videos.
previous demos
Yes.
he's done, and it doesn't look the same at
No,
all. His
no,
handwriting
no,
has
no.
changed. Now there could be explanations for this. Sometimes people's handwritings change, but if this is the girl that wrote it, how can it be the same as what he just demonstrated for me? Did they train to match their handwritings? I don't know. Maybe that's not too hard, but it is something to think about, right? How do they do that? In the end, it doesn't matter. Bijay is a fraud. I'm saying that definitively. No more videos about this. I'm moving on, as all of you should. Forget this
Yes.
clown and just move on. He's not worth anybody's time. Nepal is a beautiful country and doesn't deserve to be
Thank
made
you.
a fool of by this one guy. Anyways, that's it.
So that's all for today, guys. So मैले ह्यान्डराइटिङको कुरा गर्छु भनेको थिएँ. ही अलरेडी टक्ड अबाउट इट होइन, बट मैले साइडमा ह्यान्डराइटिङहरू राखिदिन्छु कम्पेयर गर्नको लागि कि उसको ह्यान्डराइटिङ एभ्री इन्टरभ्यूमा चेन्ज भइरहेको छ. अनि झन् हाम्रो नेल्सन डेली सरले इन्टरभ्यू गर्दाखेरि त उसको ह्यान्डराइटिङ एकदमै इन्टरनेसनल लेभलको भएको छ कि अपग्रेड भएर होइन, नराम्रो ह्यान्डराइटिङ भएर चाहिँ कर्सिभमा पुरै उहाँ अपग्रेड हुनुभएको छ. एन्ड अल्सो अर्को कुरा चाहिँ एभ्री इन्टरभ्यूमा he has to go somewhere. He has to go out of the door or out of the room, or somebody else has to go out of the room होइन. उसले डेमो गर्न अर्को अगाडि नसक्ने अरे, सिर्फ उसको टिमको अगाडि मात्रै गर्न सक्ने भनेर उसले भनेको छ होइन, विच इज पहिलादेखि नै सस्पिसियस थियो होइन, बट स्टिल मान्छेहरूले बिलिभ गरिराख्नु भयो. सो त्यसैको रिजल्ट आज हामीले यो देख्नु परेको छ आफ्नो देशको बेजत अरूको अगाडि होइन. एन्ड सी हाम्रो नेल्सन डेली सरले पनि भन्नुभयो कि इट वाज अ वेस्ट अफ टाइम इभन फर हिम. उहाँको लागि पनि एउटा वेस्ट अफ टाइम थियो होइन, हाम्रो लागि पनि सबैजनाको लागि पनि. एन्ड अल्सो विजय साई मात्र होइन, उसको टिमहरू पनि सबैजना इन्भल्भ भएकोहरूलाई पनि पनिस गर्नुपर्छ, किनकि त्यो नासाको कुरा एभ्री कुरा मैले सेयर गरेँ भिडियो होइन. उसले त्यो नासा बोलाएको छ यान त्यान भनेर भन्ने त्यो इन्टरभ्युअरहरू एभ्री वान इज इक्वली पार्ट अफ दिस थिङ होइन. जस्तो मान्छेले सुरुमा उसको इन्टरभ्यू लिएर उसलाई फेमस गराउने कुरा गर्यो नि, हाम्रो धमाला सरले पनि उहाँको सोमा बोलाउनु भयो, हाम्रो भाग्य नेउपाने, अनि त्यसपछि हाम्रो माग्ने बुढा सर उहाँले पनि बोलाउनु भयो होइन. जो मान्छेले पछि ल्याएर डेमो गराएर हो यो मान्छे चाहिँ होइन हो रहेछ रियल भनेर भन्यो नि, मिडियामा ल्याएर फेमस गर्यो. नो अफेन्स टु माग्ने सर, म उहाँको फ्यान होइन, बट उनीहरूले पनि यसरी भिडियोजहरू लिएर आउनुपर्छ कि यो मान्छे फेक भएर निस्केको छ भनेर निकाल्नको लागि, किनकि स्टार्टिङमा त्यो मान्छे रियल हो भनेर सबैजनाको अगाडि त्यो भिडियोहरू ल्याउने होइन, अनि त्यो भ्युजहरू पाउनको लागि सबै कुरा गर्ने. बट अहिले आएर त्यो मान्छे फेक भएर प्रुफ भयो भनेदेखि चाहिँ भिडियो अरू अगाडि नलिएर पनि त्यो कुराले इट डजन्ट मेक सेन्स होइन. एन्ड अल्सो अर्को कुरा चाहिँ जबदेखि हाम्रो विजय सरले चाहिँ सर पनि के भन्ने हाम्रो विजय शाहीले चाहिँ उहाँको अफिस सेटअप गर्नुभएको थियो होइन, उहाँको फर्स्टको सेटअप चाहिँ आउटपुट अन दिस साइड अफ द भिडियो होइन. यहाँनिर चाहिँ उहाँको सेटअप डिफ्रेन्ट छ कि उहाँको त्यो कम्प्युटर एन्ड अल टेबल्स एन्ड एभ्रिथिङ इज राइट नेक्स्ट टु द डोर. बट जब नेल्सन सर आउनुहुन्छ उहाँको इन्टरभ्यू लिनको लागि, एन्ड अल्सो त्यो अर्को पनि एकजना युट्युबबाट हुनुहुन्थ्यो, आई डोन्ट नो हिज नेम होइन, उहाँ पनि जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ द होल सेटअप चेन्जेस इन्टु द अदर साइड अफ द रुम होइन. अनि त्यो साइड चाहिँ एम्टी हुन्छ कि, किनभनेदेखि त्यो साइड डोरबाट एकदमै नजिकै छ होइन. कुनै पनि फल्टी कुराहरू गर्नको लागि त्यो डोरबाट एकदमै पेपर स्लाइड गर्नको लागि होइन कति सेकेन्ड लाग्छ एउटा मान्छेलाई उतापट्टि फर्काएर त्यसरी नै रेकर्ड गराएर होइन उता फर्किनु 10 मिनटको लागि मेरो तन्त्र मन्त्र मेरो डिभाइन पावर युज गर्छु म, त्यसपछि लेखेर देखाउँछु भनेर कति टाइम लाग्छ र होइन. सो डोरको नजिकै लगेर किन पहिला अलरेडी सेटअप गरिसकेको अफिसलाई कम्प्लिटली चेन्ज गरेर एभ्री इन्टरभ्यूमा होइन त्यो डोर साइड चाहिँ एक्सेसिबल किन गराउनु त होइन. त्यो इट डजन्ट मेक एनी सेन्स एट अल. बट एट द एन्ड अफ द डे होइन मेरो भन्नु पनि केही छैन. आई थिङ्क हि डेफिनेटली हेज टु बी पनिस्ड. उसको टिम सबैजनालाई पनि पनिस हुनुपर्छ. उसको फेसबुकमा गएर हेऱ्यो भनेदेखि एकदम टाउको दुख्छ कि, किनभनेदेखि एभ्री पोलिटिसियनसँग उसले भेटेको छ, एभ्री बिग पोलिटिसियनसँग मेबी उसको कनेक्सन छ अथवा के छ होइन. उसलाई चाहिँ उसको अफिस पनि पोलिटिसियनहरूले पनि देख्यो, उसँग गाडी पनि छ, छँदा हि हेज अ भेहिकल घुम्नको लागि उसँग गाडी पनि छ भनेपछि कसले चाहिँ उसलाई पनिस गर्छ भनेर सोच्नु के. बट वी हेभ टु मुभ अन फ्रम दिस होइन, किनकि हुने कुरा भइसक्यो. सो वी क्यानट चेन्ज दिस. बट एउटै मात्रै कुरा म लास्टमा के भन्न चाहन्छु भनेदेखि इफ विजय शाही इज मेन्टली अनस्टेबल त्यो मान्छेलाई हेल्प गर होइन. इफ त्यो मान्छेको मेन्टल प्रब्लम छ भने, छैन भनेदेखि त्यो नर्मल मान्छे भएर पनि यस्तो गरिरहेछ भनेदेखि उसलाई पनिस गर आई थिङ्क द्याट्स अल त्योभन्दा अरू कुनै पनि उपाय छैन किनभनेदेखि यो मान्छे यस्तो किन इन्सिडेन्टहरू हुन्छ लुक्छ होइन केही महिनापछि फेरि फर्केर आउँछ केही महिनापछि फेरि लुक्छ फेरि यस्तो यो आउँदै गर्छ मान्छेले केही गरेन भनेदेखि त्यो मान्छे कन्टिन्यू गरिरहेको छ नि त्यत्रो मान्छेलाई लुट्यो अरे त्यत्रो लाखौँ पैसाहरू खायो अरे भन्ने कुरा आइरहेछ होइन मेबी अब उसको लागि अझ होइन भनेर पनि उसले विजय साई एभ्री इन्सिडेन्ट पछि उसको केही न केही एन्सर भएकै हुन्छ कि यस्तो यो ब्याक एन्ड फोर्थ जानुभन्दा एउटा केही एन्ड आउनुपर्छ कि यसको लागि चाहिँ इदर पनिस हिम त्यो मान्छेलाई बिरामी छ भने दिमागको बिरामी छ भनेदेखि आई डोन्ट नो लैजाऊ होइन मेन्टल हस्पिटलमा जहाँ भए पनि बट यो कुराको एन्ड चाहिँ गर किनकि अझै कन्टिन्यू गऱ्यो भनेदेखि अझै पनि अरू देशमा पनि हाम्रो बेइज्जत हुन्छ थ्याङ्क यू सो मच गाइज फर वाचिङ द भिडियो तपाईँलाई के लागि भिडियोको बारेमा प्लिज तल कमेन्ट बक्समा लेख्न नबिर्सिनु होला भिडियो मन पऱ्यो भनेदेखि लाइक गरिदिनुहोस् र यदि कोही नयाँ हुनुहुन्छ मेरो च्यानलमा र मेरो भिडियो फर द फर्स्ट टाइम हेर्दै हुनुहुन्छ भनेदेखि चाहिँ प्लिज सब्सक्राइब गरिदिनुहोस् मैले यस्तै भिडियोजहरू आउँदिनमा पनि हाल्नेछु तबसम्मको लागि टेक केयर बाई